This one is updating this one,
Well, one is,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
the black one, markup one.
Yeah. and that might change again. Okay, so call the meeting to order. Yeah, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Flags in the wrong locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
That's what I thought. But
Fix it. Found it. Bigger one.
It is.
a little bit
Yes. A little.
in the funnel.
Good.
I just figured it's easier for town meeting.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, so update on the agenda. We have the snowmobile club. Anything else? Okay. So I guess we can do that now. So Stacy doesn't have to sit there with them unless you'd like to.
I think that's.
Okay,
So anyhow, every year we stop by, make sure that, you know, we've been on the best behavior and that we're gonna be able to continue going on. And there's a couple of roads that I added in and pencil on the bottom. But then looking at it, and what we did with the ATV club, is we just open all the roads rather than, you know, handpick a couple here or there. And basically, I mean, the roads that are on, there's only a couple of roads that they really use as the main trail, you know, like Bellevue, a little bit of Lake Shore, whatever. The other roads, it's just somebody's got a sled, they want to ride from their house, you know, to get to the main trail. I mean, that's.
so does anybody want to propose that we open all the roads?
Well, the question I have, Stacy, ATVs to me are a little bit different, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You can ride up and down the road and not that. I've seen snowmobiles on Cross Street, you know, come up and
Yep.
down, and they're not supposed to. And we're gonna clearly mark, obviously, the ones we don't want them on. Do you think, just based on your history, that this is gonna create, if we open all the roads, it's gonna create something?
This is no different than what everybody's been doing all along. It just would make it easier. It's either rather, you know, that they're all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And quite honestly, I mean, most of them are not gonna want to be on the road, so the least they have to be on the road.
I know, that's kind of what I was getting at, is we need to keep the least as possible on the road.
Well,
It's really
then-
for access, right? That's what we did it for the ATV. It's for access. And do we have a number of homes that obviously are either being rented out as B and Bs or they have home ownership
Right.
on all these roads? Okay.
So Pleasant Street is a new one, or was that
No, that was
open?
The
Always.
only ones that
always
are
open?
new are the ones that he handwritten at the
They had
bottom.
it down towards the
I see,
bottom.
okay,
Oh, so everything else was already open.
Yeah.
It was already open.
okay.
And I believe last year,
Meadows.
we did head of the pond and off the John, but I couldn't find last year's.
I couldn't find it either, but I remember that.
Right.
Yep.
Is Creamery Road going to be an issue?
That's, well, because getting access to town now, is Mr. Ferdinand has closed his property
Right,
from Meadow Street or whatever. And now people coming from Derby or Morgan or, you know, vice versa, the only way that I can see it right now temporarily.
You're quite-
And I believe that the solar people are gonna let us, rather than come down Creamery Street, let us come down the side of the hill where we come right out onto Meadow Street. But I just put Creamery there, just in case
just a point of reference.
that they changed their mind. So right now, if you were coming into town, you come through the solar, you come down to Meadow Street, instead of going straight across like what we used to, we have to make the left on Meadow. And we'd make the right on Railroad, and then we duck in where the fire station comes in on the other side of the road.
Okay,
But no groomers.
Well, for the
No.
groomer
They're not gonna fit anyway.
The groomer wouldn't go on the road, not on these.
well, the groomer will go with
With the
trailer
wheels.
on the wheels.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, there's nothing to groom them back to the fire station, nothing.
Well, they've always, Mike.
Yeah.
Before Mr. Ferdinand closed his property, the trail used to go behind the fire station
Yes,
and then come straight across.
right by my mother's house.
Right, went into the driveway.
Right, yes.
So I'm pretty sure that Richard was able to get it through there. I mean, if not, then he'll just put it on the wheels.
Okay, yeah, well, that's okay. When you're asking for Meadow Street to Creamery Street, that is your snowmobile club's trail?
No, this is all, that's Derby.
Yeah, so why aren't they here asking for this? Or is they on your behalf? That's because you're connecting? Sort of.
This,
I hear you. Okay. Because why I'm asking, Stace, I've got a hold of Sean's about this, and I was told today, and I don't know if anybody else knows this, but property has been bought. And he does not want to come down Railroad Street off the Meadow Street. So that's why I'm wondering who's in charge of that trail to get. Because he told me today that was not gonna work for him. because,
What property was bought? Mike? Just so I know, as background.
it's waiting for some signing and everything, but David's
Ferdinand.
property.
Okay, who's
The
Sean?
one you were
and
talking
Who's David?
Sean Selby is the
Trail
master for the Derby
Derby snowmobile.
Snowmobile Club.
So I think
Okay,
this was done in case that doesn't go through. Is that
Right.
what am I understanding?
Okay,
Okay,
David is who?
that's,
Ferdinand, the guy on,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, I just don't, I don't care. It's up, that, I have no problem opening this up. I just want to know who's in charge of this. I mean, because I was told that Sean does not want to use Railroad Street because of the snow plows and he doesn't want to be responsible for the spikes on the sidewalk.
Right,
Yeah.
but right, so if you want, we could cross that out of there.
No. It's
If-
open
if-
for-
If, if Mr. Ferdinand's property's been sold and they're going to run the trail through there, then Meadow Street and Railroad Street isn't necessary.
Yeah.
But if that's not done,
I've got no problem with this at all, Stacy. This is fine with me. I just was trying to find out how come you were asking for that one that belongs to the other snowmobile club, but it's important that we get the snowmobiles into town for sure.
Right. So in the interim, if that doesn't close, say we have good snow by Christmas or whatever, in the interim, that trail isn't open, at least this would have
Get them into town.
temporary way to get into town. And then once it opens, well, nobody wants to ride on the road.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've got no problem with that being open as far as, voting for that to be done. That's fine with me.
What we're voting on though would
Is-
be everything except for Creamery because we don't own that, right? In other words, we have to.
No,
can we only
that,
vote on the
we
ones that
can, we
own,
can,
Or can we?
no, we do
Like-
own that. It's
thought-
it's not our trail, but it's on, why?
Oh, it's in our
This is
town.
only, and
It's
this
in
is
our
only
town, so
gonna
this-
be in case this doesn't.
No.
goes through.
Yep.
Otherwise, we're not gonna need that, right?
So Creamery we won't need is what you're saying.
If, right, exactly.
Okay.
so I motion to accept the Brighton Snowmobile Club's request to have the same roads open plus the additional two, that are listed on this list.
Or we just put it down,
Oh,
all roads open. Because that's basically all the roads
right,
that we would have.
So, I motion that all roads in town be open to snowmobile.
yes.
Okay,
That's what you want, but you have. a
No,
suggestion?
not all roads. I mean, we say all roads, they'll be going around the park here and down,
Around the park?
well, down, they'll be going around here, around the railroad station. And
Like Cross Street. And
we gotta be careful here. We don't open this up.
What I was saying is maybe we just say what's on this piece of paper, all the roads that are on this piece of paper.
That's,
Yeah,
that's fine. with me.
fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. 'Cause-
try this out.
Yeah, this
first.
gets a little crazy over here.
What's gonna end up happening too is I think you're gonna find this year too, Stacy. I hope it doesn't happen, but there's gonna be a lot of complaints about snowmobiling after 11.
Well, that's
Now,
been,
that's always been
That's-
it's always.
and that's a few.
yeah.
That's
That's,
just a
Yeah.
few, but if there's complaints about it, then we're either gonna have to get somebody out there to But I mean, it's gotten worse. You know it, and then it's just too bad. One bad apple, you know how that is.
Well, you're gonna, this has been going on for
Oh, yeah.
5 years, so it's not,
So I motion to accept the Brighton Snowmobile Club's request to open the roads as provided on this list, including the handwritten edits, being open to snowmobiles, the 24-25 snowmobile season.
I second the motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, public
May I,
comment?
may I say something?
Sure.
It's really important now that somebody accumulates that list. For years, we would do all the roads that were open last year, plus this, and then people couldn't, when somebody tried to find, where's the original list?
Yeah.
It was hard to find. So somebody's got to make a list of all the roads so that there's no doubt about what road is open and what road isn't, and make sure everybody agrees.
I think
Yep.
Noah had them from last year.
Yep, I had them from last year and a map.
Okay, it's got to be updated then.
Yep,
That's right.
that's right.
So the motion was to
That's right.
accept the roads as submitted.
That's right.
So, okay.
Yeah, I think that's good. Ask just.
Well, again, okay.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
all.
Steve.
Stacy.
Do
Good
we have
evening.
any public comment?
Good.
I have something.
Jennifer,
Can you hear me?
gotcha.
Are you guys gonna put the ball field netting in the budget so that it can be taken care of?
Did we make a decision on that?
Yeah, we got some prices on them.
Yeah, we got prices on them.
Yeah,
We weren't, I didn't.
Right, but we
believe-
don't want it sitting there falling through the cracks and everybody just pushing it aside. We still don't want damage to our property. Or us, or our animals. So do we know where we are on that?
The concert would take care of the consequences that way. We're trying to keep a thumb on the budget, so I thought we had kind of like tabled that, or did we not?
I don't,
I thought so.
I think
also.
we had gotten prices on it and it was like
Crazy.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That plus the question of how far do you take it, right? So if you do this for one neighbor, are you going to do this for
Yeah.
all of them?
Right.
So I don't believe that should be in the, or is, I don't believe it's in the budget this year. Don't
No,
believe-
I think we took it out because
Yeah.
it was not, but not to say that it won't come back again, but we can talk about
guys
it
can certainly
again,
discuss
but
it.
it's.
Yeah.
We got prices and it was really way over we could do this year.
I
because
thought
of
you
it.
guys were going to do kind of a temporary thing to put up
Sorry, you're breaking up.
or something.
Temporary.
Yeah, I'm driving down there. Yeah, I thought you guys were gonna come up with like a temporary thing until, because of the price of it.
Can't think of anything temporary
We'd have to
to
go
do
back.
anything.
I don't remember talking.
Because even the netting,
Keep going, keep going.
the,
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to go back. We'd have to go back and check to see what we came up with that.
I think there was 3 different conversations, Jennifer, that we talked about, if I remember correctly. The initial first 2 was when you came up, along with Lisa and a number of other folks with concerns about the balls flying over, which was, I think, mid-season to late season of the baseball. And by the time that we tabled it to have another discussion, the season was pretty much over. And we
Right.
decided at the time, because the season was over and that we had 2 floods, budget monies were going to be spent predominantly towards that. So we took a little bit of a risk with properties along the line, knowing that there was not going to be anything being done. The other meeting that we had, which was a separate conversation, and you'll have to look at YouTube, if my memory recalls, it was 2 different options. One was a netting, and another was a potential, instead of putting netting along the line, is having some sort of fence around home base, that if a ball gets fouled, it catches it before it gets too far down the line. In other words, there's
Right.
something
That
closer
big
to
fence.
Yeah.
right, closer to
Right.
home field. So that way we're not dragging a whole bunch of netting all the way down to the end, because literally every person could. And if I'm not, I'm just trying to recall, Noah, correct me if I'm wrong. The other aspect too was the town, I think we had some sort of policy, not a policy, but if there was any damage that the town would.
It was regarding insurance. Right?
Okay, insurance.
It was the certificate of insurance, right? So each, just like the groups downstairs, the school gives me
Yep.
COI, or the coach gives me a COI, and it's required to use our facilities.
Yep.
And, if the homeowner submits a claim and we have a COI from that organization, which is the requirement to practice or play on those
Yep.
fields,
Yep.
then we would just submit that.
Okay.
That's how we, that's how the
Okay.
town is.
Because,
So does that, I'm sorry, Greg, I'm on a roll here.
yeah, go ahead.
So that discussion really led us to say, okay, is the certificate of insurance enough? In other words, your primary concern was balls hitting your house with damage. If we already have.
Yeah, with that and hitting us.
Well, yes, true,
Yep.
true. That there is a personal piece. Didn't mean to leave that out. But the certificate of insurance would cover that aspect of it. And that's kind of what we leaned on, at least this year. That doesn't mean we can't talk about it for next year. I think what we're struggling with at the same time is what and how much. And for the use of the ball field, when the ball, how much do we really use the ball field? How much is it being used? Is the cost, the overall cost, going to be worth to put something up, or is the insurance going to be enough, of that? And that's the conversation we need to have probably in the future, like next year before we open the ball field. Does that make sense, Jen?
But meanwhile,
So we're gonna push everything till beginning of next year?
so I think, well, we get certificates of insurance. So if they're playing and if whatever organization is there and hits your house or whatever, they're the ones that are going to be responsible for any damage. Is that how that works, Joe?
Yes.
Typically.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any claims, if it's our field, I'm sure that we would be included in any suit because we have deeper pockets. That's just the way it works. So we would also want to name the other people who would use the field, organizations, as additionally insured and make sure that they're covered. But I have to say, in all of my years here, claims like this are really, really rare and probably better covered by insurance than a fence. But that's just my sense. Doesn't
Yeah, but
happen.
the
very
problem-
often.
Go ahead.
The problem we're gonna run into is our stuff is not, we can't even make our stuff anymore for our siding on our house. It doesn't exist anymore. That color
can't
and
make
everything
what?
doesn't. The
Was your,
siding, if you guys were to replace our siding, it doesn't exist anymore.
I
That
agree
color
there. I know that.
doesn't, the color does not start there with that. So it has a whole different, Gene knows it has a whole different everything.
That is something the insurance can
I
factor in. as
think
well.
the cost in respect,
Yeah,
cost
but
of
then it looks like
fencing in
patchwork.
respect to the potential risk of that happening, it doesn't equate. So I don't think funding a 40 to a 60-foot fence up third baseline is a justifiable expense.
I think what was-
given the potential of risk.
15, 20, what was that?
What was on?
If you're talking 15 or 20 feet, that's not enough.
Oh, I get it. But no, we were talking about the price of it was,
Oh,
it was like.
I found one online that was down, it was a secondhand one, fairly new, but it was 47 for
47,000.
4,700.
4,700.
Yeah,
Yeah, but how long was it?
it was, I got the measurements at home, what it was, but it's still, we would pricing others, again, this was that secondhand. So, and again, even at that time, we thought our budget was gonna be too tight in order to
Oh,
even
yeah.
purchase that. This was the whole thing was the budget.
Right.
So I can't see where we can change anything for this year. Again, we can look.
We can
into it.
look into it again in the you know, we, like, right now, I think it's gonna have to be insurance.
Jen,
Wow.
I think there's a number of factors, that we have to consider in the overall perspective of it. Certainly taking into account, your property and obviously the people that live there. And I think when we table this one more time, it'll be in the obviously after the new year, probably after the town meeting, before the season opens up. I think we need to table this and have a good advantages, disadvantages, or good risk mitigation, risk discussion, assessment discussion. So that because the townspeople in general, you know, who uses it, how much we use it, I think we should have, like Craig Barnes came up and he was talking, that's the reason I remember it. He was talking about the ball field. There's other ways to go about this. The bottom line is we have your thoughts and we will carry it forward, I think, for next year, after the town meeting.
Okay, when would that be? Do you know? So that we can, you know, keep an eye on that. And
Well-
also we gave, I don't know what Jean remembers, but we gave her another website that had stuff, different pricing on it. So I didn't know if you guys had a
Yeah.
chance to look at
I
that.
think we had all, we all checked into that. Everybody had gotten on that. Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Yes, in fact, she forwarded it to Noah. Noah forwarded it out to the select board. So we did see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And part
So
of that,
when is that other meeting gonna be? Just so we, you know, keep an eye on it.
Well, it's.
town
probably-
meeting is March 2nd,
Right,
In March?
5th?
Okay.
yeah.
So it'll be late March. It'll be after March.
Yeah, or, after
Probably.
March,
Yeah.
yeah.
Late April. Yep. when-
It would probably be on the agenda, right? You'd probably put it,
Typically,
yeah.
yeah, because the school will want to, you know, if they're going to play there or whomever is going to play there, they
That's right.
typically come up to us
Right.
and let us know.
Yeah,
So,
uh,
special.
who comes up? LaFave, Jason LaFave comes up and has the ball field maintenance, discussion with us
Yeah.
about dirt and all that.
And typically they're contacting me, you know,
Yeah.
late February because they know we're doing the budget.
So let's say for now, Jen, that we're gonna shoot it around the end of March. That gives us a couple weeks after the town meeting. It'll be warned, and that way enough people can give their thought process to it, okay?
Okay. We
Okay,
just didn't want to get it pushed to the back
No,
burner,
we
you know?
didn't forget.
appreciate you bringing it up, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Gene, Noah?
Yes.
Yeah.
It might be a good idea, Noah, to call Passive and ask them for a risk evaluation of it. I mean, the park's been assessed for risk by our insurer, and that's never shown up, but they may not be thinking of it in the way that this is being presented. So maybe you should call them and ask them for an inspection.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah,
Actually, that would probably be very helpful because what we should probably do is, as we're talking about the budget, look at, you know, a maintenance plan for the park, right? Figuring out what we need to replace as time goes on, how much and what are the true costs, right?
Well, yeah. I agree. I think it comes down to usage. How much is that ball field actually used? And that's the risk that I'm looking at. You know, is the cost worth what we're putting into it? We have to have that conversation, I think.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Debbie. Town manager report.
Sure.
So,
Mike, I'm reaching out to Andy to ask him about, you know, getting that taken care of for Craig Gillette, the property across the street, right, that we talked about, paying the material, right?
Craig come see you about, or you went to see Craig about that? Is that, I mean,
Nope, it was just an email.
okay,
that you sent me. Yep.
okay, all right.
So I'm gonna let Andy know.
what's going on with that?
It's just, he, correct me if I'm wrong, he asked for material to be dumped across the street and we were talking like, remind me again, Mike, it was riprap?
Across the
that more or
street
less?
from where?
Oh, on the 5 Mile Square, yeah. I talked to Andy about that, so I went out there and take a look at that myself.
Uh-huh.
Can drive it, my truck across it nice, easily. So
Up to you guys if you-
I haven't heard any more about it, but I did understand this hearsay that Andy went and just said that it is what it is, and I haven't heard anything else from it. But I went out there myself, just take a look at it, and I can drive my pickup It's not, it's just a little.
I'm not sure what we're talking about.
No,
That's
no,
why
neither.
I'm,
What do you-
okay, that's why I'm giving you
Let me
that.
see if I can just fill you in a little bit.
Yeah.
We coming up, you know where Justin Gillette lives on the 5 Mile Square? You come around the corner, start heading down the hill.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, well, halfway down, well, where the four-wheeler trail is, that goes on, well, that's Craig's property, and it goes all the way down to the intersection of where you go on to Gideon's Mill Road, and then comes around where the Skidoo Trail comes out at the bottom. Well, about halfway down that hill, there's a little pull-off there, and I don't remember it, but he said they used to put a trailer in there years, and I don't remember a trailer there. But anyways, right now it's like you could probably just back a trailer in if you want to, or pickup, but it's not even.
So it's
I
not
don't-
part of the road.
What's that?
It's not part of the road. It's just a.
No, it's just the access to get onto that piece of property. So when we went over there and did all that riprap on that, which come out beautiful, he kind of was complaining about that. So I said, okay, well, I'll bring it up and we'll take a peek at it. And so Andy spoke to Greg about it and says, no, and I went over there myself, and I think you could drive a car in if you had to, but so I haven't heard anything more from that. And if you haven't, I say, let's leave it alone.
Okay.
That's my feelings towards it. And then if there's something else, I'm sure Andy will get a hold of you.
I'm sure, yep.
Okay?
The safety grant, I've got to look at, we don't have much time for it because I want to make sure we order everything we need as far as, we're talking about Cross Street, right? The pedestrian walkway there and all that. I
Yep.
just want to make sure we're fulfilling all the grant requirements. So I'm looking over all that tomorrow, and Friday if need be, but primarily, wrapping that up so we can start ordering everything we need as far as signs and getting that taken care of and addressed.
You have an estimated time as to when you're looking at least to try to close that out?
I'm looking to close it out this week because we have to have it invoiced and paid for before December 31st.
Okay, thank you.
That's because that's the ARPA grant, right?
Nope, no, it's a different grant. It's
Okay.
small scale safety grant.
Okay.
And then the recycling center, I'm still looking over some of those items for you guys and getting prices, just quoting out something that's going to be as cheap as can be as far as static stickers. I did go ahead and speak to employees regarding the enforcement of that starting January 1st. So by next meeting, you'll have a design, everything ready to go, and
Okay.
we'll have it all ordered.
I think what would help us potentially is just information out to the people before we actually get it out, like we talked about.
Yep.
So if there's something you can give us, once you finalize it,
Okay.
just give me a couple of bullets. I don't care, send it on email or something, just so we can.
Well, and
communicate
put
to people.
some-
I've been giving that quite a bit of thought, and last week I went down Saturday and was there Monday, and I was out of there off and on. And I was trying to observe
Mhm.
how many people I didn't know from the site, and actually I didn't see of any. And then I was further talking more to Bruce about it, and he says he doesn't have an issue. And he hasn't, not that it hasn't happened, don't get me wrong. I don't know if we're just diving into a shallow pool here and if this is necessary to do the sticker work, as we have so much other business going on in Allen Pond. Bruce doesn't seem to think there's an issue down there, and we pay the same, even if somebody was to sneak a bag of recyclable into the site. I think it was $55 a pickup, I believe. That's all we're charged.
Plus his time and benefits.
Well, his time and everything he's there, he's got to be there anyways. That doesn't involve another person bringing in some.
Right.
So anyways, and as far as the pay garbage, that stays the same itself. So I don't care what you people want to do with this, but I think we're diving into a shallow pool here over this, and we're making ourselves a lot of work for nothing. This is my observation. Because I went down there for the 2 days, on and off through the day, and I watched Bruce work there. And then when I found out that it is only $55 for the pickup, and it isn't that increasing as far as having one or two, if you're staying out of town. But if you want to go through all this rigmarole.
Heather mentioned
Mhm.
that it's been noticed that non-residents been doing
That's
it,
right.
but we
Yeah.
don't have a number. How often is it?
Yeah,
And Mike brings up a very good point. Is it worth our effort to, expend the funds to come up with some kind of sticker, regardless of, regardless of the cost. If it's not that flagrant or that often,
Well, I think,
do we?
all
need
right,
to
so
address it?
we don't do that, but Bruce knows the residents in Island Pond.
Right.
At least he should know.
Well,
So
no,
when someone does come and they have a
Mention it.
truck of recyclables, say, okay, you need to pay $55 if you want to dump this.
Exactly. Yeah, I just
But
think,
he would have to do that.
I'm sure if he sees if it's being abused, I'm sure he's gonna say something, but I just
Yeah.
think we need
So
to dig us.
unless somebody had recyclables, they wanted to bring them, they would call the town.
They'd have to pay the treasurer first, or Teresa would have to be down there. That's just in statute.
Yeah.
If it's coming to money,
Now, we're not talking about recyclables. We're talking about trash, right?
I'm
Right.
talking recyclables. The trash, they're gonna get stickers,
Right. Yes,
right?
right.
yes.
It's the recyclables.
They should
Okay.
get stickers.
The stickers, yes, they
Yeah.
have stickers.
What are they gonna be coming up here for stickers like for mattresses? Because those are expensive, like $20 or whatever. When they're gonna have to come up here to get
If they're
stickers.
from
to
it
get-
out.
No, for anybody, that costs extra. Those mattresses, we charge $20 a piece to get rid of those.
I don't know.
They should be contacting the other gentleman who has his trailer down there. That's who they should be contacting. It's his business, not the town. The hauler there that goes around town and picks up
Okay,
bulky items, if you will. So they should be contacting him.
all right.
Okay, so they don't bring those to the recycle center?
I mean, right now,
They've been, because I know we got some stockpile down there.
that business, and I talked to that business owner, I said, you need to be down there so you can take money. It's your business, you need to run it. We're not here to run it for you. On top of that, employees, if you're not the treasurer, cannot accept cash. Unless
Okay.
Teresa's gonna be down there on a Saturday, which I doubt that's
No.
what she wants to do.
No.
So I made it very clear to him that, hey, you can operate down there, and that's A-okay, like you have been, but you gotta be here. It's your business if you want to run it.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
All right.
So that part of it's okay. All right, well, other than that, I just, again, back to what I was saying about this, the stickers and all this and trying to get this lined up. We have, I think, rather more important business to deal with on this new year coming, to worry about that for the time being, making sure everybody gets them on their cars for this winter. Like I said, I did go down there and I thought it was fairly smooth. I just don't think I think we have more important or better things to do with our time. And if that's just my opinion, that doesn't mean you can't go forward to what you were all gonna do.
You guys.
I agree with Mike. I think we rely on Bruce to let us know if it's happening more often than not, then we can readdress the
Yeah,
tag
But
situation.
he has to be sure to do it. That's the thing. We can't, we cannot just let people in there.
Of course not.
Oh, true.
But again,
I agree.
I was down.
But I
there for
agree
2
with you.
days.
I mean, if it's only a few people, but
Yeah, I agree with you, Jane. I understand we shouldn't be taking
Right.
care of that, but
No,
again,
and-
I'm still looking at the town and what we're doing here, trying to get things focused on. I think this is just a little bit too shallow of a pool for us to be diving in. We got bigger and better things in the ocean to be dealing with here. So that's just my opinion, and you guys,
Well, let's get some
I
feedback
just
from
say
Bruce.
table that for the time being.
Yeah, let's
All right.
Get some feedback from Bruce.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with this as long as Bruce is doing his job. And his job is to make sure that it's the townspeople that are bringing in their recycles and it's not people from Charleston, and it's not,
I think that's. the hard
Because
part in
that's-
my mind. That's the hard part, Gene, just to kind of back up what you're saying. I've been down there as well, and I've seen Bruce work, and Bruce is a handyman. He likes to help people. So he's there, but if he's off helping somebody get stuff out of the back of a truck or to do this and that,
Mhm.
there's that monitoring piece. And so I think reinforcing to Bruce, obviously, that he has to monitor the whole, and he does. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yep.
What I'm saying is there has to be accountability. And how much authority does Bruce have? Because if I put myself in his shoes, how much authority does Bruce have to say, get out, somebody,
Yeah, but why is he helping people take the garbage out of their car?
he's just being nice.
Well,
I get it, but
when,
that's
when
not
you're,
his job.
when Mrs.
I think he's just being
I
nice.
mean, if it's a little.
When you got an 85-year-old lady there, can't get her back.
I get it, but
Let's leave this. Let's don't get back into this with Bruce thing. Like I said, I went down there, witnessed him working. He does a good job down there. I don't foresee the big deal. And all I'm trying to do is just to save us time here with the stickers.
Okay, I think we're just
All right, let's
rehashing
table
this
it.
all over
All right,
again.
yeah,
We're gonna
let's
table it until we get some
Okay.
feedback from
Oh.
Bruce.
all right,
Good.
okay. Any more on,
If I keep going?
Yeah, go
I
right
only
for
got
it.
to the third thing.
yeah, thank you.
So Underdog, they're a nonprofit. They lease a railroad depot. I'm getting their updated lease over to them. It's not something we have to do, but we're happy that people lease our spaces and give us more money. It's revenue we didn't expect, and we enjoy that. The school MOU,
In fact,
Yeah.
on the lease, is there any increase in cost in the lease?
no, not this time, because he was considering pulling out.
Okay.
And so we negotiated a fair rate to keep him where he's at, so we continue to receive that revenue instead of that entirely going away. So that's where we're at with that. But he's super easy to work with, very nice guy, very flexible. The school MOU, continued development and review. I'm just awaiting the school's response. That's all.
Good Lord, and that's not happening.
The OLT cabinet update, I'm just waiting on NUK broadband to give me an easement. Right away agreements. Let's talk about that for a hot second. So we went from right of ways to easements. And then I spoke to VLCT and I asked them, what would you guys do? What do towns typically do in Vermont? Response I got was essentially they just turn around. They don't go and get an easement. They don't go and necessarily go through the whole right of way process necessarily. They just turn around. If they said, if you're really adamant, yeah, you can go get an easement and you can have an attorney look it over and you can have an attorney draft it if that's what you want to do. But most people just let you turn around. So
You're
that-
talking about the road, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and they should. I mean, otherwise they just don't get plowed.
That's pretty much how that
That's
works.
how it is, right? You let me turn in your driveway or whatever.
So the direction I need from the board is to tell me, do I pursue easements for the roads that we spoke of? And I have to work with an attorney to have it drafted. And I can do most of the easement writing or we can leave it be and they can just turn around.
I'd say let's leave it be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been going on.
I don't think we need an attorney, period.
Well, no, we're not if we're gonna keep it the way it is.
But if we don't, I don't think we need an attorney to have a written agreement between a property owner and the town to allow us to turn a snowplow around in their driveway.
Yeah. Now, if you had issues, absolutely, I'd say pursue something, but if we're not
Yeah.
having any, we're creating mountains out of molehills, we don't
Yeah.
really need it.
But there are a couple places, if I recall, that you can't turn around. In other words, you get to an endpoint and you're stuck.
You have to back into
You have to
somebody's
back in.
driveway.
That's right.
Yep.
But like I said, so there are other options. Okay, then I'm not gonna plow your road.
Have we had,
No,
have we had complaints?
No,
No,
No.
Only complaints about either throwing up the road or acquiring an easement.
Yeah, well, if they want to get plowed out, they probably.
exactly. They're not gonna say that. This was something Andy had brought up because he wanted
The
to.
Cargill-
save money. Well, he wanted to try,
Yeah.
ultimately, Andy's goal was to save us money. That was what he
There
was
is-
trying to do because
Yeah.
there was extra plowing, there was turnarounds, there was potential for lawsuits, potential. So I'm just saying,
Yeah,
he was trying to save us money.
Yeah.
I think
It sounds to me like now, we've looked into it, we've researched it, we've got enough data to just.
could
go
end up
ahead.
costing us more than,
It would cost us more than what it would be.
that's
And
right.
if we bring this up in the new year, I would recommend, that, I think it was Town Highway 24, sound familiar?
Yes, yes.
I'd say, since that landowner doesn't want us plowing anyway. and-
That one's good.
Yeah, that's one in the new year.
Yeah.
By all
Yeah.
means, let's go through the whole process. I'll
Yeah.
work with the property owner. and
Yeah,
get
but
it.
everything else, I
Yeah.
think, fine.
Yeah,
Very good.
So we're not gonna do anything.
right.
Right.
We're gonna keep
All right.
doing what we've been doing for
Okay.
50 years.
And then, FEMA flood buyouts, I'm still waiting on any property owners that have had any flooding to present me the documentation, and then I will fulfill the town's portion of it. But until I receive those documents, I'm not doing anything with that. So I'm just kind of in a holding pattern until,
Do we have any as of right now?
you have two. But they still haven't given me the documents, so fill in,
Were they repetitive losses?
meaning.
More than one flood?
Uh,
I mean, what's the need to buy out a property?
I don't entirely know.
They have to have documented
Right,
evidence of being flooded out.
Yes, and well, I think there is one there, well,
like
the one that we know of.
on back.
They're
yeah.
still waiting to hear if they're gonna buy them out, condemn it, or, but meanwhile, I guess they were asked to get a price on a heating system.
As
You know, I've never
Is
seen
it
that,
one-
all the years I've been in this island pond, I've never seen that water go into that house. That's
I know.
one freaky.
Yeah.
so it's this one instant.
Yes, just one.
Okay, all right. It's on them to provide the
That's right.
documentation.
That's right.
So,
I'm just waiting till we.
but FEMA is not gonna buy out a property. I can't speak for FEMA, but what I know, is FEMA is not going to buy out a property off of one instance in 100 years. I mean, they won't. So
I just know the state said, hey, you've got a couple buyouts. Here's the 49-page document, Noah, that
Okay.
you need to fill out. And I said, hey, I don't mind filling it out and spend time doing it. But it looks like there's a lot of portions in here that need the property owner to fulfill,
Yeah.
put information in. They're like, yes. And I said, okay, happy to do it, but I'm not going to spend time on it if I don't have that documentation. So, and they agreed. They said that's reasonable.
So letting those two property owner, or however property owners, advise them, we can't do anything until you provide this documentation.
Matt from the state and I have both been on top of that.
Okay, great. Okay,
And of course, I got the Newport Hospital letter out, the GLS contractor, Green Lantern Solar, Pleasant Street Hydrant, working with Zach on that. We're just waiting on parts. I keep bugging him about it and he keeps bugging the distributor. So we'll do it till we get a resolution.
So on that instance,
Yep.
what happens if there's a fire and that hydrant isn't working? Who's culpable? And I'm not trying to put you on the
Yeah.
spot. It's a worst case scenario, but I know there's two houses there that right now, if there's a fire, we can't bring water to unless we bucket and pail it. So,
We have a pumper truck
okay,
and that is for now. Yeah,
it just seems
for
odd.
wildland fire though, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
Isn't that for wildland fire?
No, they've
No.
used it for other things.
Okay, all right.
It just seems odd that we can't get it seems like a safety thing to me, it's a fire hydrant. It's gotta get fixed.
And so on top of that, to take that project a little further,
Yeah.
what I arranged is, so Rick met with Zach and they actually went around and looked at some of the other hydrants and said, what other issues do we have?
Oh.
And so this coming new year, we're going to look at all those hydrants. We're going to look at any issues that they're having. We're going to get a couple on back order as well. So we're prepared. At the same time, some of these firefighters are new. They don't know where everything's at. So we're going to work on a little bit of a mapping project for the fire department. That way they can locate it a little easier as well.
So is it the vendor, the fire hydrant vendor?
Yes,
Yes.
that they're waiting for.
So why are we dealing with more than one vendor? There are more
Yes. there
other
are.
vendors.
Yep. And that's on H2O to provide.
I just,
What?
Zach,
H2O,
There
they're
are
water
water sewer.
contractors.
Zach
Yep.
Zach and
Andrew.
Andrew Vera.
They're the ones, they're the water department.
Okay, then have them look at other providers.
Yep, I have.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's a safety thing and,
I agree.
okay.
And we've identified the hydrants as well that have a different, I guess you could say nozzle on them,
Right.
right? And so that was another thing we noted when we we're doing inventory.
So have they reached out to other providers
Yes.
and we're getting the same answer?
We haven't got any. feedback.
Anything,
They have to communicate with us too.
The-
The other
The
vendor.
water guys.
yeah, the vendors.
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 Yes.
What's the H2O then? You mean keep pushing
He-
daily,
I have that.
daily.
That's what he's been doing.
If they said they did, yeah, I go as far as I can.
Mm.
I did get the employment letter that you guys requested from Bruce back. This was what he submitted for your guys' request. And he understands and he agrees, like, hey, yeah, I get it. We'll,
Oh, okay.
you know, direct deposit. If they're not here for whatever reason, that's fine.
Okay.
So
Oh, so he still doesn't
Just-
want, okay.
just so he,
All right.
we're all on the same page and he understands, and,
Yep.
and hopefully that is a very rare occurrence, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Did you guys want to see? It's just Tim signing.
No, but, I had somebody do some Vermont research on paydays. And if payday is Thursday, then they need to be given a check on Thursday. We can't mail it to them. Unless we mail it to them and guarantee it arrives there at that person's mailing address on payday. That's a Vermont law.
sure.
So,
Yep.
I'd have to ask Teresa
Yeah.
who all gets it mailed. I
Yeah.
don't know off the top of my head, but Bruce is the only one I know that comes in and gets a paper check, aside from our summer hires.
okay.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Um,
But we have a fix in place where if the check needs to be, then a board member can. We will get an
Yeah.
email.
Yep.
We get a, that's right.
Minimum 3. Okay,
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
understood.
Yep.
Fixed all the coaching, scheduling stuff for the gym.
Wow.
Hopefully you guys never have to handle that. It's a mess, but we got it taken care of.
Mhm.
So we're
Wow.
all set. Coaches have access to the gym. They know what times they need to be there. Everything's updated on the website. And that we're all in agreement on the days and everything and where we need to be, which is great. Should have seen it the first year.
Mhm.
Nice fix.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, not a problem. FEMA meeting, I've got a meeting tomorrow with FEMA. The gentleman I'm working with, or the PDMG, or project manager in this case, is Charles. He's in Montpelier. He'll, pending weather tomorrow, he'll be coming up hopefully around noon. We're gonna kind of just take a little ride around, look at the inventory. I also have a list of the different culverts based on the photos with the geographic information, so we get the XY coordinates that FEMA's gonna ask for anyway. And we'll have that ready for him as well. And then any additional questions he has, we'll try to answer as best we can. And it's just continuing to move that project forward. Specifically, the project we're talking about is DR 4810, which was the first flood in July. So, but I've got the photos from everything that Andy helped provide. The MERP, like I said, the MERP and GLS, those documents were signed, and I talked to Lucy about the tax collection meeting. She will not be the delinquent tax collector next year. She will not be running. So that's a notice for everyone. If anybody's interested in being a delinquent tax collector, come see Teresa and we'll figure out if you can. Feel free to run. Happy to have you do it. So that's part of that project.
Because doesn't that fall on you, Noah?
I don't know what you're talking about. I knew there was one other thing I wanted to bring up to the board. I do apologize. And you guys do not have to make a decision tonight by any means, but it is. We will. This is the Vermont property tax, public pious or charitable exemption. So the Snowmobile Club came to the town. They're asking for an exemption on their property taxes for the property that they own. I worked with the lister today, and we looked back in the history books to kind of figure out where and when, if they've ever been given an exemption. We didn't see anything. So this is a new application. I'll let you take a look at it. Typically, the lister decides, typically. There are rare instances such as this where it is the board's decision to determine if they will allow an exemption, and then I report back to the lister. But that is entirely up to the board. I would just caution you on any precedent. If you do this for one, be careful if you're not going to do it for somebody else that might ask, especially if they know they can go get an exemption, so have you.
What is the
Noah?
assessed value?
71,000.
Sorry. Are they asking, on what basis are they asking for an exemption?
Should be.
Are they are they claiming to be a charitable or pious or what?
Provide complete detailed descriptions, safely store and maintain the equipment and materials necessary to provide snowmobile operations. To
mean,
bay.
The
It's-
statute on this is Title 32, 38, Section 3802.
Yep.
And all the state has said, and that's what you've got it. And what section are they saying that they're exempt under?
Do you
I,
mind?
Are they a 501c3?
I believe
yes,
so.
they are.
Doesn't matter for town taxing.
Right. That's what I
Yeah, but
was
that's
thinking.
considered
too.
501c3s are charitable organizations.
Or
Snowmobile
501c3
club?
is also a nonprofit.
That's correct.
Yeah, well, there's lots of nonprofits, but not all of them are 501c3s. It's like the Chamber of Commerce is not a 501c3, it's a 501c6, which does not allow it to be tax exempt for a lot of stuff.
I mean, some of the exemptions are granted, some are have to be voted on by the voters. I'm not familiar with one that the select board can approve.
This was just coming from the lister today.
What was the assessment?
71,000.
71,000, but what's the tax?
I don't know what they've been paying for.
What they're paying for tax, they can't be 7.
No, that's what it's assessed at.
Okay, well, their taxes aren't that much then.
Doesn't actually say exactly what, I mean, they clearly filled out the document, but it doesn't necessarily state why they're looking for an exemption. I mean, they answer the yes, no questions, but it doesn't indicate. And
So
just,
they don't say they don't say under what section of the statute they're claiming an exemption. They're
It's
just
not-
asking the voters for a tax break,
The mission
basically.
of the club is to stimulate and advance the general welfare of snowmobiling.
and I guess
Yeah,
in speaking with the lister, it sounds like it's more of a recreational touristic reasoning behind it.
no such thing.
I'm
I don't think there's any such thing.
And that being said, the lister also provided me the statute that I have in front of me, and the sections that apply and how we would have to equally apply that. So I'll pass that around, and he's even highlighted it in yellow. It's sections 1, 2, or 3.
Did you email that to us? No,
I just got it today,
Okay,
but I can certainly email
Thank you.
guys.
yeah.
Can a landowner get tax exempt?
Yeah,
Well, that's what's gonna happen.
Well, no,
Like I hear what you were saying,
Um,
they gotta be careful.
Identify parties.
And like I said, not a decision you have to make tonight. I will do more due diligence on this and find out more information as it relates. But I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the board. That is something we're apparently gonna have to look at.
Use not directly benefit.
Yeah, so it says here, number 7, is the property unconditionally and irrevocably dedicated to a public, pious, or charitable use? They answered yes. And if yes, why? We are granted 501c3 status by the IRS, EIN, blah, blah, blah. State of Vermont business ID number, see attached documents. So they've attached documents, which we don't have. So there's missing attached documents, but that's what they answer your question, Joel. That's what they answered.
Yeah,
That's what
that
they.
It is
answers
the
the
501.
question exactly.
Right.
And there's something, this has already been decided. There's something that's called the fly fishing test.
Yeah, it's right over
Decision.
What he
here.
was talking about, yeah.
The red
And it-
one.
Yeah.
Up-
Okay,
This-
that's what they attached.
I do not think that this meets that criteria. I'm sorry.
Additional to public use.
The public doesn't have free access to that
So
spot.
that's what the
No.
lister and I were
That's right.
discussing, yeah. Like, we were talking about, for example, like the VFW, right? The VFW was also open to, community events or something like that. We could see where that might be an exemption.
Closer,
Well,
still
yeah.
kind of a closed club. A museum would be more like it.
Sure,
Mhm.
yep,
The Welcome Center is tax exempt.
yep.
The
Yeah.
welcome
Yeah.
center is
Public, great.
eligible, right?
The property is not unconditionally and irrevocably dedicated to a public
Right.
use.
No, it's not.
It is not. It's definitely not pious and it's definitely not charitable. No.
Belt sign and no trespass.
Is there really one out there?
No,
There might be a keep out one. I know that they don't want nobody hanging around up there. I'll tell you that. You got some expensive equipment up there, so. It's nowhere you'd want to take the kids for.
That's the attached
oh,
document.
that's it.
That goes with it.
I don't agree.
It just,
So look at that. There might be a sign.
it just
No,
shows
there's not.
taxes.
Oh, so that's what their taxes are,
Yeah,
$2,100.
yeah. And it does say they're charitable. But the location, well, that's what it says.
I know, but they're not.
The state of Vermont says they are.
They are.
The state of Vermont
Yeah,
said that they are a charitable
That's the doc-
organization.
That's what the document is. They got approved.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So it's not as easy as we think.
all right.
Trust me, Greg, I've met nonprofit consultants before.
Um,
They would have to dig into it just a little bit more,
I can do that.
you know?
The only other main item, it was gonna kind of tie in with the budget as well. This is an estimate from Tardif. Not sure if you guys saw the porta potties that are outside the building. And came in, can't miss them out. We have that because we actually have an issue with the line there. And that's the line that's connected from the lobby down to the basement. So if, one gets backed up, they don't get backed up.
Yeah.
And that's the cost.
That's the bathroom downstairs and then the line that goes under the cement and they're gonna have to jackhammer through it in order to level it out because it's crooked. Yeah,
mhm.
Yep.
I heard about this.
But I thought that was a much better price than I was anticipating.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
So
pretty good.
I just want, since you worked in that business before,
Yeah.
if you think that's going to be an
Yeah,
acceptable.
start
fix,
using a
then-
jackhammer.
But our procurement rules require three estimates.
Not if it's,
It depends on the dollar amount.
Yeah.
So like typically if it's over 10,000, or if it's not something that we have in the budget, which again is another reason I'm bringing it to you guys, since you're the power of the purse here, since we're over budget.
The procurement rules require 3 quotes or 3 bids or 3 estimates. Now, unless this is a micro purchase, it probably is.
It's not grant funded
No.
either. It's just,
No.
it's a town
Right.
cost.
Yes.
it's,
All right, I just don't want us getting in
Nope.
trouble.
no,
Nope.
not for
Right.
that. You don't,
Yeah.
for that.
No, is this the bathroom in the lobby here going into the basketball hall? Okay, and then from there downstairs into where our office is? So it's just that one bathroom?
Yep.
Because all the others on the shower sides, those are all, everything's good there?
Fine, for whatever.
And all right, so if he's jackhammering that all the way back up and making it clear from that is I can't
I-
believe
I
he can
know.
do that for that.
I know.
That's on the jackhammer.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how we can do that for that, but if it's gonna fix it, yeah, let him do it.
He's always treated the town well.
That's reasonable.
Will that get,
2005,
do we have like a, not a gym, but a town hall fund? I thought there was a,
we do.
Maintenance fund.
Yes.
We are about to go over that budget.
okay.
Yeah, okay, and actually, yeah, after,
Um,
that's it?
Yep. That's all.
All right, let's go over the budget.
So the one thing you guys really wanted to have in on was the appropriation, which is the last page. The most updated version that I got, sorry, second to last page. Starting on page 5, going through page into page 6. So you can kind of see the different appropriations. I just wanted you guys to be able to put a dollar amount or figure if there's something you thought should go up, should go down.
Okay, you said starting on page 5.
Yep.
And what I'm seeing are general expenses. I don't see appropriations in here.
So
Those
I
are-
think it starts on page 6. The ones you want to see, I guess, maybe.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
page 6, you're gonna go to, start at, adult, home
Like
health, NEK mental health,
Yep, there you go, 10-7.
or NVDA.
Yep, NVDA, VLCT.
So, Greg, I think the general expenses other is for the previous, in other words, that bold on the previous page. It's just pure his opinion and doesn't mean much, but I think this is reference to this stuff. This starts a new paragraph.
True.
Yeah, and so the next page, there you go. The bottom of the page will give you the sum total of all that stuff.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
So it does start on the bottom of page 5, but then it continues to 6. At the
Okay.
bottom of 6, you're gonna get a total for those 2 pages.
yeah, but you're talking, it's, okay.
I just wanted to start at 10/7/99/85.85 VLCT.
Yeah.
And I figured we could just go line by line here and kind of tell you what these organizations are if you're not very familiar with them,
Okay.
what benefit they
Yeah.
add to the community, right?
Right.
Yep.
So Vermont Leads the Cities and Towns, we've always been a member of them. They help us, you name most legal things. If it's not specific to the town, it's very general. They can assist us with. They
Mhm.
provide training year round for all municipalities throughout the state of Vermont. They have various in-person training sessions, various online training sessions, but they're just a great resource if you're like, I'm sure another town has done this. Who do you call, right? Instead of calling that other town, you can just call VLCT. I almost guarantee you they have a record of it somewhere.
So we're budgeted. We're suggesting a 2025 budget of 3,000, or is that a current 2024
Yeah,
dollar amount?
it's 3,000. The actual is,
Yeah, that one we get billed
They charge us $3,000
for the year.
yeah,
and we've only used $265.
He has to finish adjusting that.
Okay.
Yep.
In your guesstimate, do you think we're close to 3,000?
Yeah.
I would
We'll
imagine.
definitely expend that total amount,
Okay.
guaranteed. And if VLCT ever goes up, they always put us on notice, and it's never anything crazy. It's normally maybe 20, $30 if it goes up.
But you're gonna spend the 3,000.
Yes, sir.
oh, for sure, this year. probably.
MVDA is the same. That you can see where that kind of came in as one bill, and we just paid that.
And NVDA is,
They're our Regional Planning Commission, or RPC. So for large projects, right, if we want to know about a variety of grants or resources like the Municipal Energy Resilience Program or the MERC grant that came out, if I need some assistance on that, whether it's on the state side or for an assessment for energy audit or something, who do you call for that? Well, you call NVDA.
okay,
They've got somebody there who helps these towns develop, plan, and improve for the future.
all right. Okay.
And I just actually filled out our priority list application with them for next year. Because our NBRC grant that we got $1 million towards the wastewater treatment plant is because we're on that list. So
They're also a state created agency. They're created by statute as the Regional Planning Commission and the Regional Development Corporation. That's the only regional planning commission and combined regional development corporation in the state they brag about. So they do a lot of economic development work.
Joel
for
and I
towns.
both go to those meetings, and I sit on one of their boards, so it's always nice to kind of have a heads up of what's coming down the line. NEK Mental Health.
What is that?
What benefit do we get?
Who's that? No, not who. Wrong question. What is that for?
NEK Mental Health, is that who is that? I can assure you it's probably something to do with drug addiction and treatment would be
Is
my
it
guess.
human services? Is that Northeast?
I was trying to think of it the same line item because I know
Yeah,
NEK Human Services is that.
A lot of these organizations that are on here are just provide services to the town. And they put the organization requests on all the town's budgets to help fund their operations. They do a report that you could see in the town report about what they do and how many people they serve.
A good a good example of this is kind of like our library. Like we might ask Charleston or Morgan for an appropriation because, well, we're the major library in the area. So that's where their community comes to read and get general services. So
So where is that nexus on mental health?
I was just providing an example.
Yeah.
I don't, well, okay. All right,
I would guess that there are people in Island Pond in the town of Brighton that get
Yes.
services there.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not
That is,
denying that.
NEK Human Services that's, it's not mental health, it's NEK Human Services.
Right.
Okay.
$1,200 is what's in the
Yeah.
budget?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just in a computer titled wrong. It's NEK Human Services.
Okay.
Human services. So what does that
Yeah,
do,
they're
Mike?
based out of
Yeah.
Newport. That's where everybody goes for drug treatment and rehabilitation. And they do serve a number of people in town.
It's
Yeah.
the big building on the road that is at goes at the intersection of where Kinney Drugs is and the state police barracks. Their main building is back in there, and they have a lot of people. They have caseworkers. They, as Mike says, they treat all kinds of people having difficulties.
Yes. Right. So I mean, they probably serve quite a few towns. So
Yeah, they have
$1,200
nearly 500
$1,200,
providers.
yeah.
We finish
$1,200 is pretty cheap for that, I guess.
They
I
have
just-
over
I need to-
30 clients in
you
this
need to
area.
justify every penny. Okay,
Home health
our
service.
budget, it needs justification.
Well, the thing is, I will tell you about these appropriations are people actually got signatures to put this in the budget. So
Right.
it's not like the select board made these choices, the voters made these choices. So that's how these got in here in the first place. It was somebody
Right.
brought signatures and they got passed.
And the voters can
Right.
take it out if they so wanted at town meeting.
But I'll guarantee that probably a very large percentage of townspeople don't know what these services provide.
I'm sure.
Okay, so we're going to be asked pointed budget questions. Why are we paying for this? So that's why I need good explanations.
We do, and I will say that the annual report, if you look in the back, we put a good number of the reports from these agencies in there. We kind of pick and choose because we don't want to reprint everybody's. So we kind of rotate them around every year. Different ones end up in the book, so people do see what they're doing.
Yeah, Mike, this is what I talked about at the last meeting is it's okay to be in the book, but I think when we're sitting there facing a crowd of people that are asking a number of questions, it would help us as a board and for the people to understand, what it is.
Well, when the auditors get the reports this year, I'll just make sure they get sent to all you guys. I mean, because I do the book with the auditors, and the auditors get all of those reports, and they kind of pick and choose which ones they think we should put in the book every year. So,
Yeah, I think
we can
for us
certainly
as a
send you
board-
copies of all of them.
Yeah, I think as a board, we need to see that. Yeah. Okay. Home health services.
That's all the hospice nurses and everything in town, and home health care.
Okay. Adult education.
Yep.
I'm
NEK,
assuming that would be.
That's here.
Yeah, I was going to say
That's
next.
just right here, yeah. So, yeah,
These kingdom line services.
yeah.
they pay us rent.
They do. You guys should actually poke your head in there sometime. They've got a whiteboard and everything up there, and they actually have quite a few clients here in town, so it's been busy there for them.
Okay.
Area on aging.
Who?
The area agency on aging.
Oh,
They're based in the medical center now.
they supply a lot of people with information about Medicare, Medicaid,
Yep.
all services for as people get older. They do a good job.
They've also, I think they paid for Tai Chi at one point.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
They do provide
they
the
do.
Tai Chi class.
Yeah. Yep.
And we have folks from Sunrise who join us. It's actually been very popular every year that we've had it.
Yeah. Okay. Umbrella.
umbrella is
Battered.
battered and abused women, and I think they serve children too. I mean, it's a kind of safety net kind of organization.
Okay. Independent living,
People
Yeah.
who are in need of services because they're disabled in one fashion or another.
Yeah, I know.
Blind, I think it's actually the blind mostly.
Yes.
okay,
Whenever we have a question about what constitutes proper accessibility for disabled under the Americans for Disabilities Acts, we talk to them and ask them what they think and what their understanding of the law is.
community forum, is that the one for,
That's the Welcome Center.
Yep.
And the $2,000 goes towards the upkeep and utilities for the Welcome Center. That hasn't changed since the Welcome Center's been there. That's been $2,000 ever since it was started.
yeah, is that enough money? I mean, it seems to me we put 2,000 a year since it started.
Whoever asked that question?
Yeah, right. Well, I think,
Well, I guess they're building up a pretty good fund. If we're giving $2,000 and they don't put $2,000 into the building, that's what I'm getting at.
well.
Oh, no, the utilities are way more than that.
Utilities.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's the utility.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the heat, electric, Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
water, sewer, all of that. So yeah, it's way more than $2,000 a year. We do collect rent from the Snowmobile Club and the ATV Club, which both are
Right,
housed.
to make up the difference.
Mhm.
That's, yeah.
But it's
What-
definitely a break even at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
of the time, we're subsidizing it.
And we were lucky that the snowmobile club
Volunteered to
to.
fix it up.
put the-
Paint it.
Yeah.
They painted it, right? Didn't they
Yeah,
get all
painted
painted
it
up?
and
Looks
put it
nice.
all up, yep.
Okay, prevent child abuse, that's obvious. Cemetery, none of that is used this year, $5,000.
No, she needs to look at those.
It'll get moved into their operating fund.
So
It's
is
like
that,
a reserve account because they go in waves what they do in each year. So they
Is that
actually have
just-
a reserve account.
sorry, Mike, I keep cutting you off. Is that just for the mowing and not just, but it's for the mowing?
Primary.
It's their operational budget. You know, they don't have enough in reserves to actually cover the cost of operating that cemetery.
We had cemetery commissioners on payroll.
John Manning,
Is that under this? Or
not on payroll, yeah.
Not under payroll, but I mean, we funds for them to
Yeah,
do that. Is that under?
That's
There's
what he
cemetery
does.
commissioners, that would be under your,
Oh, that doesn't go into the just cemetery. Okay, this commissioner, all right.
so this $5,000 is separate than what the cemetery commissioner gets?
I don't know, does the cemetery commissioner get anything?
It's
I don't
included
think the
in
cemetery
it.
commissioners get anything.
They get
I don't think
$100.
they get anything, so yeah, it's part of it.
They
Okay,
get $100, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not much.
so, okay,
It-
it'd be nice to see how much they use this year.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
they're
it's
not gonna know till they do
$100.
it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
they're not mowing right now.
No,
yeah, right, yeah.
They haven't done any projects, any new projects on them.
I just wonder, we can talk.
Well, I
to
think
John.
we had, they had come in for more money last year,
Last year,
right?
yeah.
That's why, because they needed,
I thought it was the year before.
yeah, because it
They
was,
actually get $300 each a year, same as planning commission.
oh, okay.
And that does come out of that $5,000. That's
Oh, it does, okay.
And that's going
Alright.
into the cemetery report.
And there's how many commissioners?
There's 3 of them.
Three,
three of them.
okay,
That's right.
$1,000. Okay,
Daughter.
Okay, miscellaneous,
I need her to correct that,
okay,
so it can be a little more accurate for us. Otherwise,
Yes.
your next question to me is gonna be what's in it.
yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Okay,
I'm gonna ask her if we can remove the 99.10, because if there's nothing going in there, then we don't need to see it.
Right,
agree. Using-
I can promise you, 911 emergency services will use every bit of
Yeah.
that.
That's fine, I'm good with that.
I think
Restoration
that's
of records,
911 stuff, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
yeah,
restoration of records,
That that's more or less, correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, I believe that was for the police, was that at one point in time?
No,
No.
that's for if we have to. Go ahead, Joel.
Michael, we use that for microfiching, records, town records. All our town records should be digitized and so it's in anything that we want to restore a record of that I understand.
Okay.
Okay, and we didn't spend
The one
anything.
thing I would recommend on that is that we perhaps might want to think about setting up a reserve fund because we're not spending that $500. I don't think we've spent anything
No,
Exactly what I
here.
was thinking.
But putting that $500 into an account because we really do need to digitize our records. But I looked into that and it's
Expensive.
just our land records alone, it's like 12 grand. So
I think a fund would be probably the right thing to do.
Agree.
because otherwise it just disappears every year.
That's right.
Symphony Orchestra, they were
Yep.
great. They were here this summer. There were about 80, 90 people in the park.
And this $100 actually doesn't pay for that. The forum pays them to come in the summer, but this $100 is for a program they do at the school for the kids in town.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, so is that something we should pay for or the school?
Well, it's just it's a pittance it's $100. They came and asked the town because they use it as a match towards something else.
Does the school pay anything?
I do
It's a
not.
match.
Well, I'm not.
I don't
yeah,
know
you're-
what the
you're not
school.
on
I
the
don't. I
board.
don't have anything to do with the school budget. I know they came to us. They got the voters to approve that. Probably 7 years ago, because that one actually got put on the Australian ballot even.
Oh, did it really?
That might be one. Okay. Red Cross. And when they do blood drives and stuff.
Yeah.
Cleanup day.
Well, when has there been a blood drive here?
Twice this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They used it.
Yeah, Aaron gave. Yeah, they come into town. They also do immunizations, I think.
Okay.
They were 22 for that.
Yeah. Cleanup day.
I'll be honest, that could use just a little more, but that's up to you guys. We always get like a package of the trash bags and stickers and all that, but I don't know, dude. Pierre, you ran it this year. Do you think we?
I didn't run it.
Sorry, it was coming out of your shop.
Yeah, it was sitting on my cafe porch, but
Yeah.
I didn't run it. I think Judy Valente ran it,
Yeah.
and she always does a good job with that. Bruce helps out on the side as well. There's a
And I
lot of
think-
people, there's a lot more people that participated this year than they did last year, is what I can say. And I don't know if it
And
was
so.
location or
the
advertising.
town, does this even cover the bags?
Bags are given by the state.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
They
$1
don't.
because-
This is
The $100
kind of-
is for like food, I think.
Yeah, but
Judy
most-
goes to,
No,
because
all that the
it's all
food and stuff.
donated.
This is just for their advertising. This is basically for them to run the program that they ask for a donation. It's
Yeah.
mostly sponsorships. If you look at the bags, they have all kinds of
they
Casella's on
do,
there.
they
all the
do,
big-
yeah.
Okay.
And they always get food coupons from Shaw's or whatever for muffins and water.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I was
Plus we
the
donate-
coordinator
we
for Green
donate
Up Day for a long
1960.
time.
Yeah, we get,
1960.
we give water you last.
Yeah.
We donate
She was gonna
coffee.
Go to Newport
so
to
I
get a
mean,
case of water. I'm like, are you serious? Here, take a case of water.
we can- That's what I told her.
They
too.
used to be better in the olden days. They used to give us Green Mountain coffee and all kinds of, better things that we could do. And now they don't do that anymore.
Green Mountain Coffee is not better.
I remember donuts. Just remember donuts.
Well, it's better than a case of
I
water.
remember donuts and hot chocolate when I was a kid.
They do have donuts.
On
It's
Green
not
Up
better
Day.
than Three Branches Cafe coffee is what I'm saying. I'm just, okay,
All right,
Yeah.
good.
so is that a place where we can,
No, we want to keep that.
okay. Varvey?
Services for the blind and visually impaired.
I thought we did that up there.
No.
Yeah,
No, that's independent living, different organization.
Yeah, this is the blind organization. The other one was more.
Independent living is,
Where are they located?
I'll know in a second.
Okay. NEK Youth Corp?
We're still on
That's Northwood.
VABI.
Oh, we are?
just gonna look up where it is.
Yeah.
Where they're
Line, I
located.
figured.
Yep.
Line services.
Yeah. The youth corp,
The youth corps is Northwoods.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Services for the Blind headquarters is in Brighton.
Burlington. Okay,
So Northwoods, I know we participated as a school.
They do.
Northwoods came and they cleaned your whole hillside out there.
Yes.
You can't, yeah.
What hillside?
Over there by the footbridge. They
Yeah.
took down all the trees and everything in there, and there was no cost to the town for that.
Yeah.
They are.
It was a lot of
great.
work.
They do all of our trail maintenance on the Bluff Mountain Trail. They do lots for the town. So
Yeah.
They give jobs, they use that money that they collect from all the different towns in the area, and they use that money to give jobs to summer youth, our kids, Charleston kids, Norton kids, Ferdinand kids. And they do the work that Mike is just talking about. It's really a pretty good deal, I think. They
Great
could do
work.
good
Right.
tra-
Thank
they do
you.
good training for outdoor trail maintenance. They teach kids how to use axe. They teach kids all the great tools for the outdoors.
and they do let all the residents of Brighton get to use their cross-country trails in the wintertime for free.
Mhm.
Okay,
They also work with the library.
good.
fireworks, Mike.
Yeah,
That's
fireworks.
great.
Can we,
Yeah, you want to give us more for that? Because this year's fireworks are $13,500.
Which the community
The
forum
Pays the
pays
balance of.
balance of. So I guess that's a really good deal. But yeah, more would be nice, but
I
not
know.
this year.
Okay,
Hmm.
parade is for what?
4th of July
There's the
parade.
4th of July parade, winter carnival, all that crap.
We haven't had a winter carnival, so
Well, you still get the 4th of July and
Yeah, the
the,
4th of July sucks up everything else. Don't worry.
So-
Don't worry. We don't actually have anything left over from that.
what does it pay for? What does it pay for?
well, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah,
Just-
well, okay.
when you
Our
have the-
4th of July weekend in town costs
It's-
$40,000 to $50,000 a year. So this is the town's contribution towards that.
Yeah, because.
You know,
Okay, so-
all of
You can have
the
them use it.
events that we have.
The events and stuff, this is the town's portion that they pay. The rest is paid by the forum.
Right. So ultimately. for
All the bands,
Okay, so
the,
parade is probably a
Maybe a
bad
bad
title.
The parade is usually 1,000 because we have to pay a band. You usually pay the
right.
band to be in the parade,
Yep.
and I don't know what we're going to get this year. I mean, we had tough time last year. We couldn't even get the band to come, so we offered money to everybody to perform, and then we also pay the Shriners out of that because the Shriners are not free either.
that's right too, yep.
Okay.
That's got the home school association.
There's nothing that went into it.
Yeah. I know.
Home and school, that's an old line item. We don't do that. They
Probably
don't
get rid of that
well,
too.
I think they just reformed. They disappeared for a lot of years, and they never come back and ask for more money. So
Because
Let's get it.
Ashley was, if I recall. I could be wrong, but I know she's a part.
Frontier Animal Society? What does that do?
it's a shelter. You're muted, Joel.
The shelter?
That was put on years ago at the request because we had a lot of animals that the town was dealing with, feral cats and things like that, and it was, I think it's what is it, $300?
$200.
200, and it looks like they used it.
When we catch a feral cat, for instance, there was a time when we dispatched them by ourselves, but now if we catch a feral animal, it should go to the Frontier Animal Society, and we would pay them to euthanize the animal if it was a feral animal. It's services like that they provide for us.
And it looks like we used it, so,
Yeah, we quickly.
yeah, $200, yeah, I guess so.
Well, this is kind of the thing is I don't know if we use it or if they just take it. So in other words,
these are appropriations. They
That's
just
right.
get
they
She's
just
right.
get the money. So we don't necessarily have a cat that went in and we had to use the
Right.
money. We just give them $200 and so it's 100%.
It's
That's
towards
why
the-
that's why it's shown as
That's right. That's
That-
exactly
right.
right.
The ones that are our show is spent are the ones that Teresa's already cut the checks for.
that's
Anyone
right.
that isn't, she hasn't.
She usually waits till the very end of the year to cut these checks.
Yeah.
The very last thing.
So on some things like that, and I guess my point would be, what is the bang for the buck? In other words, yeah, we're giving them $200, but if we haven't, Joel, you said for years we've done it, or there was a problem years ago, do we still have a problem? And is this something that we need to continue?
We have a
Talk to
problem.
Ryan and Maria.
Yeah,
Well, and that's my point, right, Mike? Yeah,
yeah.
they're the ones that would be.
Your goats.
I think you should treat it as a donation to the organization for their general use is how I think this.
I
Yeah.
do know that we have sent. I mean, we try not because they're kind of the place of last resort.
Right.
You know, if Ryan picks something up,
Right.
they try to find its home, that it goes back where it came from, or we use who is a kid that maintains our pound. She usually can find a home for stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, if we can't find a home for it, it goes to Frontier, and they either find it a place or it goes to doggy heaven.
Yep. Yeah.
To your grandfather's pasture, you mean, out in.
Yes, yes.
Where it lives a happy life forevermore.
Dog Mountain.
Not like when we have the geese rounded up. They go to the farm.
Yeah. About that. Do we have fun for that?
Cemetery reserve fund? So how's that different from the cemetery?
Yeah.
The cemetery is their operating budget. The reserve is when they have to go, that they have a reserve fund to pay for when they have to reset stones and stuff,
Yep.
when they sink and fall in and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So there's actually, so how much is in the fund?
Not a lot.
It's
Let's
for
see,
now.
their
They
reserve.
have, they have
Hold on, I
a
gotta
CD.
Yep.
Cemetery is something that I'm going to tell you really needs a lot of work.
Yeah, no kidding.
In the future,
Yeah.
sometime in
No,
the
no.
future.
So if they got a fair amount, why isn't stuff being done in the cemetery?
So the reserve fund has $3,000 in it
Right.
that you put the $1,000 into. That's all that's in that account. Their operating fund as of December had $300 in it. And then they have a trust fund and savings, which is a compilation of some stock shares that they've got and a few CDs. And they have
CDs, right?
$118,000 in
How
there.
much?
What?
Yeah.
118,000.
And we're funding them for $5,000 in operating costs a year?
They don't earn. That's their reserve funds. That's what's supposed to be paying to operate. Is the interest off of that? But the interest off of that is not earning. Let's see, it's earning about $100 a year.
The fund, I believe, is going down because
Yeah.
they set a fee for cemeteries, but I suppose you could say, fortunately, people don't die as frequently as would be needed for enough money to run a cemetery. So they use that money and there's things that should be done that probably aren't being done, but running a cemetery is a lot harder than people realize, between people getting deeds and burial certificates and keeping a map. We have always had a problem with people come up here and say, my father is buried in Island Pond. Where is he? Well, it's sometimes rather hard to find out because the record keeping has been less than admirable.
Yes,
And-
I'm a victim of that because I'm the Catholic cemetery, thanks to
Not me,
Reno's mom.
Oh,
But there is a lot. So Joel, I'm reinforcing what you just said. There is a lot more to it than what meets the eye. What I'm talking about though is this a $5,000 endeavor or $6,000 endeavor a year that if it's not being used, or can we cut back a little bit on? I mean, I know in talking with John, lawn mowing and cleanup goes up every year. I mean, fuel goes up, blah, blah, blah. Everybody does that. But it seems to me that if they have a reserve fund, they gotta kind of balance that out a little bit.
Where does the
Maybe-
money go when they sell a plot? Does that go into
That's
that
like
reserve fund?
That's $400, I think, is a plot, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
go
where's
very far.
where's the money go, Joe?
Into the general fund.
To their general fund. I mean, it goes into
Yeah,
their
that's
fund.
what I'm saying, that $118,000 general fund?
No, no, it
It
goes,
probably goes into the reserve fund if they.
Yes.
oh,
The
so
thing is,
then
I
you're
don't
right.
think
So then you're
many
right. It does
plots
go into that
in quite a
reserve,
while.
which is probably why they have a lot.
Okay,
Which is why I'm saying, how do,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
can they
looking at.
tap into that instead of us?
You should probably get a report from the cemetery commissioners to see what they're doing.
are they aware of the $118,000 worth of
Yeah.
stocks? and
Well, the
such?
thing is, the majority
would
of that
think
is
so.
in stock. So 100 of the 118, 111 of that is in stock shares in
Okay.
George Putnam and Wellington Fund.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's not like it's easily accessible funds. They would be selling off their assets. And so at some point, then they become broke and everything falls on the town budget.
Do
mean,
they
they
have a
came
plan
in-
for that money?
Well, if they sold it all, yeah, but it
Right.
sounds to me like there's a $7,000 difference between 111 that's in stocks and then the 7,000 that is not.
Those
That
are
to
in
me-
CD.
Right, and if it's nonprofit or whatever, the tax is gonna be a little bit different on that particular aspect, right? I'm
It's
just,
the town owns the cemetery. It's not
It's not
it's
just-
part of the town.
Not
owns
just
a
one
portion of it,
cemetery.
yeah,
We have
Right.
several cemeteries, there's more than one cemetery that they're
there is,
responsible for.
there is a lot,
Um,
yeah.
3.
No,
they
there's
came
7
in
total
after-
cemeteries in town.
So the
Yeah.
fund is
Yeah.
is actually the
There's a lot
town's.
more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, but
They came in and
Okay.
asked for an increase at one point. I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
$100,000, why isn't the cemetery tapping into some of that money to better the fencing around the cemetery? Get a
Yeah.
better groundskeeping? Why aren't they
That's-
tapping into it?
That's you got to talk to the cemetery board is who you have to talk to for that. That's their baby to run. Your
Well,
brother.
that's one. Okay,
Yep.
And They're
So-
elected, they're elected, they're
okay,
elected, by
let's
the way.
invite
Yeah.
the commissioners to,
No, you go to their meeting. They don't have to come here.
I want them to come to this meeting.
They want the money, yeah.
There was
Oh.
I want
budget.
them to come to this meeting. So either next meeting or the meeting after that, they need to come to this meeting, all of them, to report on their fund. I wonder if they all know about this $100,000.
Do they have meetings?
I'm sure they do.
Supposed to.
They do have meetings.
All
I'd
right.
like to know what they got
I
plans
don't know if
for.
there's any.
I mean,
Are
if
there
they
any
got 'em in-
restrictions on those funds, Joel? Because I remember Ginny Wing used to always bring those up at town. Was it Ginny or Mike Clark's wife? Always
Yeah.
brought up those funds. That people in town used to watch those funds like a hawk. I remember it coming up in town meeting day, and so I don't know if there's any restrictions on usage of those.
Yeah,
I'll find
You know,
out.
if you're only allowed to take off the interest, or if you're only allowed to,
well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
is if
know. I
they're
don't
stuck in-
know.
If they're stuck in stocks, you're gonna have to pull them, and that's gonna be a tax. So but somebody
There won't
has to
be.
explain
It's town. It's the town owns it, so it's non-taxable.
the 117,000.
Teresa wouldn't,
They're listed as
Oh.
owned by the
Well, that's
Bright.
different.
They're in trust for the cemetery, but they're a town account. So the town,
Yeah, yeah.
the cemetery is not a for-profit entity. It's a part of the town.
Okay, all right.
It's not separate. It's just like the sewer department. It's still part of the town.
Well, let's see if we can get those folks up here, at the next meeting to explain to us why we're giving them $6,000 and where that money's going into. at a
When
minimum.
do they meet? Do we know?
They rarely hand me an agenda to
Mm-mm.
post. I think I've posted
Oh.
one, maybe two this year.
How many people on the board, do we know?
3.
It's 3?
Three.
My brother
Hold on, I
tomorrow
can tell you who, too.
Oh, your brother.
on the way to
Having,
Colebrook.
I would like to go to one of their meetings first,
See what the,
if they're having a meeting,
that's a deal which one.
just to see what it's all.
Have him captivated because we're going to Lemieux tomorrow to get
Your
our snowmobile.
cemetery
so-
commissioners are Wayne Cole, John Manning, and Carmen Murray.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so that was a long conversation on cemetery.
It's a pretty good story.
Okay,
A lot of money.
National Reservation, whatever, Essex
District.
County. 99.81.
Where our Essex and
NRCD,
What is that?
Natural Resources and
Resources.
Conservation District.
Yep.
They are a federal organization, I believe, and actually, I know a couple of people on that board. They helped us with tree planting along the lake. They helped us with helping to design the wetlands, which nobody likes, I guess, but they've done, they do a lot of tree planting programs. They do general outside forestry work in the Northeast Kingdom.
Okay,
They have partner organizations in every county.
okay. Okay. That's a trust fund is the next one. What's,
No, Preservation
Preservation
Trust.
Trust.
Preservation.
It's,
Oh, they gave us $50,000 towards the building.
okay.
Okay, we'll give them 100.
I was gonna say that's good exchange. RSVP, what's RSVP other than,
Répondez, s'il vous plaît.
oh, wait. What is RSVP? The next one.
Why can't I remember what that one is?
Yeah. Is that,
The liquor, ain't it?
Yes, it's also
It
a
is?
reservation in French.
no, that's VSOP, I think we're talking. RSVP, do they do,
Volunteer
do they-
organization for senior citizens.
Volunteer organization for senior citizen.
Okay, good. Thank you, Katie.
Yes. I know it sounded familiar.
blank on that one?
Hey,
Okay.
we're doing pretty good. We remember most of them.
RCT is the next one. I know
That's
that,
the-
but I didn't think we were
that's the
using
bus.
RCT anymore. I thought that van went away.
Yeah, but I think they still have somebody that,
They
They
come in
do
their own
like-
cars now.
yeah, they
Right, I
use
think
their
they do
own truck.
cars
That's true.
Yeah, they have their
Yeah,
own car.
they do.
They have
Just how it
drivers.
sounds.
So can we save?
to haul people
Do we have to give
to
them
their doctor's
$1,000?
visits and all that kind of stuff.
it's a transit
If they're using their own
transit
car.
organization.
Well,
No,
the
no, no.
drivers need to.
RCT that is providing, they pay the people to use their own cars.
That's right.
To come and pick up people and
So
take them to
that's
the
what
doctor's
this
appointments.
comes out of.
I see. Okay, so the transportation,
Right, so.
It's
I
just not a
think they're
bus.
still insured through them, and everything. They just use their own private vehicle.
Exactly, and,
Right.
Right.
and this goes towards the paying those drivers.
okay. Is anybody in town using that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, and then lake protection, that seems like a lot
Yep.
of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
It's over the top.
Just a heads up, we will
Well-
get that money back. It's part of a grant.
Oh, okay.
This is basically also to inspect boats
Yep.
for milfoil.
use
We
them.
are one of the few lakes
Right.
left in the area that does not have milfoil. And if we ever
Thank God.
found milfoil, you'd spend a lot more than
Well,
this. trying to eradicate
that's
it.
your father. did
No, I
that
know,
for-
yeah, I know. Well, he was the greeter.
That's what that is,
So how come we're overspent though?
because that's.
Because- Right. We get a portion of it back, but we pay the rest. We
Yeah.
pay the balance.
So we haven't gotten that back yet, is that what you're saying? Right,
Yeah,
okay.
because that was just due
Okay, so,
end of November.
That's right, yeah.
How much do we
Yeah,
get back?
Portion of 7,000.
okay, so
So it's,
almost 15,000 minus 8, so we're gonna get the 7 grand back.
that's right.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, so that's a balance, all right. Sash.
Yeah, that's another senior citizen thing. I think Melinda works on that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sash, yes, it's, I think it's for what, seniors experiencing homelessness, if I'm not mistaken.
Homeless seniors.
Support and services at home.
So they do have a home. It's just,
Okay.
Is that Meals on Wheels?
I was gonna say.
no.
No.
No, okay.
Sash. Mm,
Meals on
No, I
Wheels.
was wondering, but did Meals on Wheels fall underneath Sash?
Yeah,
oh, maybe.
it might under Melinda's.
Oh, maybe. Yep, you're right. That could be.
Yeah, their website says, yeah.
Sounds like it's to help keep people in their homes rather than have to go to a nursing home.
That's right. Yes.
State property tax?
Yeah, you can pay that.
Well, I
Oh,
know,
we have to pay a property tax on anything that we make money on, like renting. This only came up to our light. I learned about this just a few years ago. We never paid this, but so if we rent to somebody and make money like Berg or over in the depot or any people we rent to, we actually have to pay tax on that to the state.
Thanks, Dave.
and the 8,300 is a rough estimate
but-
until we
Yeah,
get
because
the
last year we had spent 83,33,88.
Right.
The year before.
bill.
So-
Okay.
I see.
Control decorations, that's the banners.
Yes.
Is that just buying the banners? Because Bruce puts those up,
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
and
just-
actually, I will tell you that's another thing where the town doesn't pay for all the banners because when we replace the banners, it's typically about $2,800, and
Right.
the
And it's
form
grant-
makes up the difference.
It's grants, right? Yeah,
Form.
the forum grant, yeah. Okay,
But the town pays for Bruce's time to put those banners
That's
up,
right.
which is
Correct.
pretty
That's-
nice.
yeah.
thing, I think.
Okay.
Joel, are you okay talking to them about the planning commission thing? Because I have to go. I have another meeting to go to.
Yeah, all they have
Oh,
got to
yeah.
do is warn a meeting, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't really say, but I would say maybe a 30-day notice for it, so that
Yes.
there's enough time for people to know about it.
Yep.
Right.
Because
Okay.
we had like a 15-day notice for the planning commission, but that's gonna put it at Christmas, and I don't think anybody wants to go to a meeting at Christmas.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be after the new year for sure. I would say.
yeah,
Okay.
anytime before the town meeting is fine. Okay,
Okay. I'm heading out. I got another meeting. 2 more
All
meetings
right.
yet.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Farm to school.
Yeah, that's the one that was.
Can we do away with that?
Petition over there.
Well,
again.
there's a petition again.
I thought we
I saw,
agreed
but what do we
to
do it for?
stop that.
They
No,
can
we can't.
repetition.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Last year it came up, I was the moderator at the town meeting. It came up it's a floor vote. And it came up as a floor vote and it was voted in.
But what is it?
Okay, so years ago, they used to have a bus that would come here and they feed the kids in the summer, like give them
Well,
meals.
Farm to School does come to the school,
School,
right, and
yeah.
they
They do
organize
that
it.
garden
They do
thing.
a Huge
The
garden.
Yeah.
They do programs with the kids using the fresh produce and, teach about sustainability and, cooking from natural
Right.
ingredients.
And that's
So
what
they
we
do
were-
provide a lot of service to the school. I'm not sure that
Yeah,
I
so
know what
that's
they
why-
provide to the town.
That's exactly, until when they were here with that little bus or whatever, which was awesome because,
Right.
but they don't do that anymore, so they're,
No, it's the last we discussed was.
Right, they
just
don't
the
even
garden.
hear.
Like hell,
so, what's that?
the garden, that hasn't been.
Yeah, well,
doing
that's-
that the last couple of years.
Right, so that was the topic, and
Okay.
we explained it, but they still voted it in, so again, I guess we'll be working on that
We
again.
have to accept that?
Well, this has already been done, and no, I guess it gets brought up again at town meeting.
If we want to bring it up again, yes. It's
Well, it's a
being- It's being
petition, so-
petitioned, so it's gonna have to get brought up again. It's gonna be an article.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Okay. All right,
okay, so, we're at the, are we all good for the budget for right now?
I am. personally.
Okay.
Greg, are you good? Mike?
I'm fine for that.
And just to speak on our next meeting on the 20th, because we're trying to have most of the budget kind of
Yep.
done.
And closer.
By the 20th, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have all the kind of ups and downs that you guys request, unless there's anything you send me via email. Putting all that together so you guys can see the total numbers. So we're gonna work off of a spreadsheet for the next meeting where we can kind of go up and down as needed.
Okay.
And get closer to a dollar amount. But this way, at next meeting, you'll see the total or the impact. At the December 20th meeting.
Christmas.
Yep. Okay,
Okay, so now I guess we have to, the zoning, I guess, Joel, we need
Yeah,
to, it's
I'm
just the,
I'm sorry.
You guys have those additional documents. There's the
Right,
one for the repeal and then.
right, because we have to set,
you have
plan
to
a
set
meeting,
date.
right?
Yep.
You have to have a public hearing. I'm just looking at the timing here. Any public notice required for public hearing should be given not less than 15 days prior to the date of the public hearing by the publication of date, place, purpose of hearing, newspaper, posting stands here. You could actually, if you could warn it quick enough, you could hold it in December. You just need to give 15 days, but you need to allow time to get the notice to the newspaper and time for them to publish it.
And what is this public hearing for?
For the plan, for the zoning bylaw thing, because now the planning commission has brought it to us, and now we have to have another meeting.
Okay, but these are proposed repeal of zoning
Right.
laws.
Mhm.
I thought we had that public meeting.
That
Yes,
was the
planning board.
commission.
Planning board
The
did.
planning board, and now the select board has to do it because the planning board has,
I see.
yes,
Ah,
it's, yeah,
okay,
It's a long step process.
Yeah.
To get to the end, but we have to do the same thing.
very
I see, okay. Take a punt.
long and expensive process.
Okay.
Joel, I don't think we have enough time to do in December. Just my opinion. I think we need to.
Well, I think,
And you're probably not gonna get the representation that we're gonna want in the public hearing, given the holidays and everything that's already on track.
In January, what?
So it says no less than 15.
Yep.
But, I think 30 days is probably,
Sure, I mean, you could do it at your regular meeting and just adjourn your meeting or warn it for after your meeting or something like that too. Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a separate day.
yeah, but our next meeting is gonna be pretty long if we're going through the whole budget.
Yeah.
Well, then warn it.
You also only have one meeting in January. Because the first is a holiday.
that's right. And then 15th
Yeah, you're gonna-
would be the meeting, the 8th.
Typically, there's numerous meetings in January. If you're
And
finalizing the
the-
budget, it's gonna be 3 or 4 meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Can we move the January 1 meeting to January 2nd? Are we allowed to do that?
You can do that.
Absolutely.
No, not January 2nd, a
Well,
little later. Jeez.
well, okay.
Still be
We're
hungover.
still hungover?
No, I might get a little tired though.
So, yeah, I would not have 2 meetings in a month. And it's having it on a holiday. The first Wednesday is the,
Yeah, that's a planning board meeting.
yeah, no, the first Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a planning board meeting.
Select board.
Oh, yeah,
I
select
know.
board.
It's not
Planning board.
it's the select board meeting, not the planning
Yeah.
board.
You're in
Sorry.
committee meeting.
Too many
Yeah.
meetings.
So the first
Trying to get-
is the first Wednesday.
Hmm.
So to have it 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I don't know, okay.
Whatever day you
Yeah.
guys want.
Yeah.
I guess, Mike, we're trying to, 2 birds in 1 stone. Is that what we're trying to do here? Trying to cover the zoning meeting at the same time that we do,
Our regular meeting.
but the regular meeting is gonna be full of budget stuff. Is that not?
The one December is,
The one December is gonna be full of budget. So.
well, I
we
think,
push-
because we're going through, so
Well,
that's gonna be,
We're gonna keep
And
working this
January.
out in January
Yeah.
and February.
right, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if we should do what we did with the planning, and that's go downstairs and
Separate it.
separate the 2.
Yeah.
So, because we're gonna have to focus on the budget, and there's gonna be other issues that could
Yeah.
come up. To me, not everybody's gonna come up here either. If we get as much representation, so I'm wondering if we can just set. If everybody's schedule can support it, we have our regular select board meeting, but then let's do a separate zoning. Meeting downstairs, warn it far enough out, maybe the middle of the month. 14, 15, 16th of January sometime. That's more than 30 days. And
That
that
works.
gives us time to,
Is there a deadline for this?
well,
I mean, I know we gotta get it done, but I mean, is there any lawful deadline for any of this?
Legally, we have a year,
Oh,
but the quicker we do
Oh,
it.
I understand, as long as we got
Yeah.
time to do it, yeah, but
I think we need to knock this out, to be honest. For us to sit there and just get opinions like happened at the planning board is gonna be in my mind, good information. We'll make a decision and then we'll go from there.
All right, so,
Because we have to make a decision, right? Joel, when the select board receives it, at that point, we're making a decision if I read the bylaws correctly.
Right, there should be a report.
There
that
is.
The planning commission just approved. Do you have the report?
right.
You
Yeah,
have to,
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
you should probably make a motion to formally accept that report
Okay,
tonight.
yeah.
yeah. So we don't really have to pick a date yet? Or do we?
No, I
Not
don't
yet,
think
but it
you
would
have
help
to.
us.
Next meeting or two, maybe we can pick a date.
Sorry, Joel. Go ahead.
Schedule, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to pick a date tonight, but you wouldn't want to, delay it unreasonably. Get it
Right,
done.
okay. All right. So, I don't know.
We make a decision on that date, next meeting?
Or do we
Sure.
want to do it sooner?
Well, I think we've been going through in the calendar, and nobody's really sure yet.
Right,
Well, so the select board meeting is gonna be
On the 15th.
on the 15th?
yeah.
Okay. So that's middle of the month. I've got nothing that first week, 6th through the 10th of January. Why don't we shoot for that?
You guys want to do like?
Just to have a public hearing downstairs, Mike
Yeah.
and Greg and Jean to,
sure.
I mean, Heather's not here, but I'm assuming she'll be okay by then to come.
When's
in
her surgery?
to-
She already did it. That's why she's not here.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right.
She's a little
Yeah.
loopy.
Loopy.
Do you guys want to do the 8th, which would be a Wednesday, at the same time we typically have a select board meeting, 5 PM, I believe that was. Heather's done at 4 o'clock with work, right?
4:30.
4:30.
Yeah,
So-
4:30. I'd say 5:30.
She gets
Yeah.
done at 4, but she has other obligations,
Yeah.
so she
Yeah.
can't make it
But for the
at
general,
4:30.
But
for
for
the
the,
general public,
yeah.
That's the big piece.
Yes, like
is the general
5:30,
public.
6.
They get done work and stuff. You want them to get here
Yeah.
sometime. I think
So-
5:30. The last one only lasted a half hour.
Yeah, well, this won't last very long either. I mean, it's,
I'm not gonna
5:30 work.
not gonna
Yeah.
cheat.
well,
Tom to
Tom is-
moderate.
Tom.
He did already. Yeah, he's
Okay.
he's already agreed to do it.
Okay.
And for the town meeting, Tom is in for the.
Now, did we say the 8th,
yes.
January.
5:30
At night.
at night?
Are we okay with that?
not morning? Jeez,
I'm up.
me too, but. I
Actually,
don't wanna be here.
we're closed on that day. So Joel, the 8th,
Yeah, that works.
okay.
Get it warned.
All right, let's warn it for the 8th. Let's do the public hearing for zoning on that day.
At
And
what
then-
time was it?
5:30, 5:30, Joel.
You wanna, just so we're not mixing up, Joel, do you want to warn it or do you want me to?
You go ahead.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's ours. We have to. All right. All right.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Oh, yes, we need a motion to,
Oh, I make a motion to accept the planning board commission report on proposed repeal of zoning bylaws.
Second it.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Okay, so we accept the report.
Yeah. You're going to notice in the pay orders tonight, there's overpayments, so some of the checks are to go back to the individuals. So don't be too shocked. That's taxes, overpayment on taxes.
Okay.
Some people do. Unfortunately, we can't.
Oh, property tax.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yep.
figure out why.
You're like, why are we giving? them that? No, you don't do that.
See, okay.
Did I give too much?
That's
You
how
do,
it's
there'll be a
open.
check in there.
Damn.
I think you owe.
Hmm.
No, I got a little question for you, just a shit, I don't know if it's going to, actually just something to talk about while they're going through payers. You know what percentage of the reappraisal we're at right now in the village?
As far as completion?
Yes.
Nope, but I can find out for you.
Oh, it's not a big deal. I just wondering if you knew by, it's not a big deal. I was kind of curious to where they're at and how they're doing with it. No, it's not. If anybody else is interested in finding out themselves, but I
I'm curious.
I haven't been called yet, so.
mean, if it's not a big deal, if it's not a lot of time and effort,
It'll take one email. Matt, super quick.
thank you.
Yeah.
Pick the little one.
You were all small.
Noah.
Yeah.
In my office on my desk, there is a box with the new tennis court surface samples in it.
Yes,
Could you pull that out for the board? I think they should take a look at that.
absolutely. No problem.
Community National Bank overpaid us by $11,000.
Who?
Community National Bank?
11,000. Wow.
So
Oh,
that
no,
part-
never mind, never mind. Never-
This is how
Sorry.
we do our courts.
I'm trying to figure out why they would even take property tax.
Right. They come with the lines on them. It's just snap and play.
Yeah, but you have to take off what's currently there, then snap and play these into place, and then there's a cost
No,
for
you
all of
don't.
the other stuff that goes in.
No,
How
it
much is
doesn't.
all this gonna cost, Joel?
You don't take off the old court. This just gets laid right on top of the old court.
So you mean if it's crooked on the
That's-
court, we're gonna have crooked?
Well, I would imagine they'd level it off first.
Ah, so there is gonna
Well-
be some cost.
Well, this is hopefully to be paid for with the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, at least half.
Yeah.
The price that we're looking at now is $56,000.
Yeah.
But it's got a 15-year warranty. So we spend easily more than that.
Mhm.
15 years, we spend that. And this is relatively maintenance free. The question of whether, I don't think our courts have any deep water collecting
Big one.
spots. I've asked about that. If they do, you would want to even those out before you lay this down. But it just gets laid down right on top of it. So if we get half that paid by the Land and Water Conservation Fund, the remaining half of that could be paid by the Buildings and General Services grant, and the town would be on the hook for what, 14,000?
14,000, and the budget for Lakeside Park is 35, if I recall.
Now,
This one-
I'm also getting a quote for a brand new fence as well. I'm gonna
Oh,
throw
that
it
would
in
be
there.
nice.
That'll,
I'm gonna throw it in there. Might as well see what they'll fund half of that too. So that old fence is
Oh,
not doing the job anymore.
no, that looks terrible.
Yeah, it does. And it's not that functional anymore. If we get a new fence, I hope to get some wind screening on it too, because it does get windy on those courts. But if we can get 3/4 of this paid for by a grant, I think I've
Please
done a
don't
lot of
forget,
videos.
3 quotes, 3 bids.
Well, of
We
course,
have
that you
to
have
for
to,
that
it's a
one.
grant.
Yeah,
I've already talked to 4 companies that make this.
it doesn't have to be a grant.
I get it. We talked about that already. I think it was
Yeah,
over
no,
$10,000.
I've already talked to 4 companies that do this. The high company was 117,000 or something. Hey, we could use the cemetery money. No, never mind. So I've kind of ruled that one out as too high, because the others are all in the range of 40 to 60. And the one that I really like, this is Flex Court, and they're 5/8 of an inch thick. The one that I like, it snaps together more securely. It's anti-theft, it's ultraviolet, It's 3/4 inch thick. This is 47. The ones you're looking at is 47,000. The one I'm looking at is 56. I don't have formal quotes yet. When we're ready, I've collected all the kinds of specs that we want, like we want UV protection, we want the lines baked in, we want this, we want that, and I'll put that together, and then I'll go back to these companies and say, here's the specs, bid on it, and then we'll choose the winning bid that we like. And it doesn't always have to be the lowest, it has to be the best quality and everything else.
Right. Any referrals of previous organizations that have used this and what their write-up is?
So I've watched the videos of people buying these things for backyard courts and big organizations and seen them lay it down. I've read the reviews. Before we would actually buy, we would want to check out someplace and see whether it's actually worked. But all these companies have been in business for at least 15 years, and many of them for 50 years. They've been doing it. Well, one of them for 50 years, another one for 25. I forget which one this particularly was, but they've been doing this for years.
Where have they been
Noah's
doing it?
seen it.
My city, they use this.
What city?
East Peoria, Illinois.
Illinois.
Yep.
Okay, Snowbelt area. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they just, gets on it, eventually it melts. There you go. And they just did a new pickleball court. They did basketball with one, and they've got tennis. But
Okay.
they've had that since I was a kid, since I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
So
I mean, I've looked at this really skeptical because I'm a tennis player and I
he was.
really, but I've watched a lot of videos and I've seen them play and just read the reviews. Of course,
You're saying it's gonna improve your game, Joel?
it'd take a lot more than those to improve my game.
Okay.
Okay, any other business?
Did we get the pay orders all done?
Yeah,
Yes.
Business?
I just only have one question in other business. December 31st is the deadline for any ARPA grants that we have.
Mhm.
So just make sure that you have that on your radar.
Yep. The only one I have on my radar that we have outstanding is the Merck grant. I've submitted everything to building and general services.
We have an ARPA grant.
That
We are
is our
using-
money.
Oh, okay,
We're using,
100%.
okay.
I'm sorry, Noah.
Go ahead.
We're using the ARPA grant for the sewer treatment plant to pay the initial costs that we're starting to accrue right now for engineering, construction engineering.
We've submitted that documentation. I know. Perfect.
Okay.
But the Merck one, I'm actually waiting on buildings and general services to get back to me to let me know they've received everything. I called them, left them voicemails, emails again. I'm just waiting for them to say,
Yeah.
yes, Noah, we got it.
Okay.
But otherwise, that project, I'll start late February, early March.
We're gonna get an information sheet on all based on our conversation at the last meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
so I talked to Mike about that. And we were both like, this week, probably not, but the 20th, we
Okay,
want to have that, you guys.
thank you.
okay, any other business?
Yeah, done.
All right, so anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes of the November 20th select board meeting.
Second the motion? I second the motion?
I,
Are you in favor?
I favor.
we're all in favor.
Okay, good. All
All
right,
right, motion to adjourn,
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
all in favor?
I.
Wants to
Merry
stay?
Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
See you, Joel.
Thank
Bye. Good night.
Just heads up for the board.
4-year-old granddaughter.
Oh, yeah, you gotta take those calls.
Fam-
I got a
I'll have my laptop.
got a couple over in Texas that
Okay.
they just got their phones. Oh, really? Yeah, and Fort Worth, where my kids are, yeah. And
For sure.
they
All right.
FaceTime. That's what they do. And that's
Probably not doing
I
much.
lost the tooth. This and that. I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
That's so, it's so
I